Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll create a simple to-do app with HTML and JavaScript, and we also gonna write some CSS. Now we build this app from the scratch where we have simple header, then we have a form that contains input box, and we have a simple button. Like if I just enter simple task T and click on the add task button, then we have simple animation and we have our text task and we have one delete button. Okay, or if I click on this task, we have simple strike through on a text that suggests us that we completed our task. Or if I click it on again, then it will remove the strike through from a text. And if I click on this delete icon, now again we have simple animation and our task is removed from our list. And finally we store our data inside our to-do list in our local storage, so that we can first persist our data. Like when we come later on this page, we have our to-do list same as where we left on. Like I simply refresh this page. Okay, now we have our two tasks um, inside our list. Okay, so I hope you understand what we gonna build. So let's go inside the VS code and let's start building the to do app. Okay, so here I already created three files. Like we have index.html, script.js, and we have style.js. Okay, first of I'll just close other server, and I will just open index file with the live server like this. And first of all, we'll add a default HTML code. So I will set the HTML file. We have explanation mark, and we created our default code. Okay, so let's first of all link a CSS file, and I will just the title of the our app to do app, and end of the body tag I will just add a source script file. Okay, dot script dot js. Okay, now inside this body tag we'll create our uh, design for our app. So I'll create a simple container called div and add a class called to do. Okay, and inside this div we'll create a simple header called to do app like this. And below this we'll create a form, and inside this form we have one input um, text. Okay, I'll add a class as a input, and we require one button to add a task, and I'll add a class to add button or add task button. Okay, like this. And below the form we required an unordered list tag. Okay, ul tag to add to insert our task. Okay, now we insert our task from JavaScript. So we required only this much of code inside our HTML file. So finally I'll add one class called task to our ul tag. And for the designing purpose, I will just add two dummy tasks inside our to-do list. So I'll create two li tag, and I'll add, first of all I'll add coffee, and second one I'll add study. Okay, and for the delete icon I'll add link from the font awesome. Now we required one icon from the font awesome, so I'll move to the icon, and we required delete icon like this. I'll just copy this link I tag. We have two classes, and we got nothing here. Okay, now we have copy, but we did not see delete icon because we required CDN of font awesome. So I'll search for font awesome CDN, and I will just copy the first link. I will just close it here. Okay, now we have our task, and we have delete icon. So let's move on to style.css and let's start styling. First of all, we'll select universal tag to change the margin to 0 and padding to 0 for all the elements, and make the box sizing to border box. Okay. So it will remove default margin and padding, and also make the element box sizing border box. I'll select the body and add height to 100 vh, and I'll make the display content flex, and all the content inside this body tag will just make the content horizontally center. Okay. Like we have justify content center. We have all the content center, and we'll add also fonts from the Google font. Like we have font, and I will search for the pop-ins. Copy this link and paste it in a HTML file. Inside the style.css, we have font family to be pop-ins, and fallback font will be sans serif. Okay. Now we'll select our container, that is we'll added a class called to do app, simply to do. So we have dot to do. Okay. And I'll make the width to be 500 pixel, and add top margin top to be 40 pixel. Okay. For the temporary, I'll make the background color to be something like aqua. So see will what is going so we'll get about what is going in our app. Okay. And now we added the margin top to 40 pixel, like we have simple space between top from the top of the screen. Okay. Now we'll select our header inside our to do, the to do and I'll just simply add margin top and bottom to be 10 pixel and horizontally 0 pixel. Okay. So it will get space between our form and top. I will not change any font size or anything. You can, if you want to change, you can change it. And now we'll add display flex on our form. Okay, nothing much, simply display flex. And now we'll select our input from the font. Okay, now I'll make the CSS simple. You can add more styles if you want to add it. Okay. So first of all, I'll make the width 80% for the input. Okay, so we'll take 80% to 500 pixel, and for the button, we'll add task width 20%. So it will take remaining width. For the input, I will add padding to be 10 pixel vertical and 8 pixel horizontal, like this. And I'll make the border to 1 pixel solid to hash 444, and I will do the same for the button. I will first of all I'll remove the outline, and what we can do, uh, so I will change border radius of the input from left side, like top and bottom, and from the button we'll change border radius from right side, top and bottom. Also change the background color of the button and the color, and I'll make the cursor to pointer. Okay. So border left, not left, it's top left, radius to be 5 pixel, and we'll do the same for the bottom. Okay, so now we'll get some cursive from the left side. Now we'll do the same for the button on our right side. Okay, now we got our button radius, and we'll change the background color of the button to RGB 178 3434. I'll make the color of the text to white. Okay, now we have now here we have border of the input. Now border input of right side and border left is actually seeing we okay. Now here we remove the border of the button from the left side, so it will look like 1 pixel. Okay, like from the both side it will look thick side, more thick. So I'll make the border left of the button to none, like this. Okay, now it will look same for all sides. I will remove this background color from our to do app. Okay, so now we'll design our list tag. So first of all, I will select our UL tag to add margin from top 10 pixel, then 10 pixel, and we will select already added a class. So let's select class U, and we have UL task, list style type none. So it will remove the default marker of the list tag, and we'll make the content to be display flex. And first of all, let's change the color to RGB. Have a color of 250 5, and we have 215, and we'll add padding to 5 pixel and 10 pixel. Also add margin from top side 10 pixel. Add bottom, and right side will so change the border radius to 5 pixel. Now display will make the content to be space between, and we what we'll do, we'll make the align items to be center. Okay, so this is it. And now we'll finally change the style for this delete icon. So we'll let's select will task li, and we required a tag. First of all, make the cursor to pointer so it will like clickable. Okay, we just forgot to add cursor to our button. Let's add it, and we'll change the color to same as button. So we'll add RGB 178 like this, and we'll change the horror color some RGB 941616, darker color. Can also add transition effects also. Okay, so this is it. I will remove the task from our dual task, and we'll start writing our script. JS code. First of all, we'll select our input button and our task. So let's write selectors. So we have input dot document dot where is selector dot in. I will do for the button and tasks. Okay. And now we required now when we click on this button, we can insert our task. Okay. So we'll add event listener on this button. We have add task and we have add event listener. Click execute and function. Simple like this. And we can get the input from the user input, like we have a value. I'll make the input dot value. I'll simply console log value to the will open console tab and will insert simple task like we have t add task. If I click on this add task button, we have a default behavior of the browser that will simply refresh the page. Like so, we have to prevent this. So we'll select event, and on the event we call prevent default method like this. Like enter t and click on this. Now we have our task. Okay. Now we have to check for the spaces, and like this we got empty spaces. So for the input value, I will add trim method that will simply remove the white space from the beginning the task and from the end of the task like this. So we'll got only our task, and we also have to check for the empty value that user is enter. So we'll check if value is emptied. So we'll just uh, execute simple code. You can simply return from this, or we can also give the alert to user that task should not be empty. Okay, and we'll just simply return from this. Now if I just click on this add without entering task, we'll got an alert that task should not be empty. Now below this we'll create li tag and insert our text. Nothing much complicated. So we'll create li tag like we have document dot create element method, and we'll just simply create li. Okay, this will create an li element. Like if I simply log this, we have li. Like if I enter li, got li element. Now inside this li element, we'll add our text like inner text value. If I enter e and click on this, now we got li, and inside this we have our text. Or if I just enter another one, like we have copy, got this copy. Okay, and now on now we added a value. Now we have to insert this li tag in append to this our ul task. Okay, so we have one method to related to component called task, and will called append method, and just simply add li tag like this. Now if I just enter li, now we have sorry, not li, it's t. Okay, now we have t, and inside the el tag we got our two tasks. Okay, so now we add, so before that we have to insert our task at the beginning of our to-do list. So instead of append, we can use prepend method. Okay, so this will insert our task uh, beginning of the to-do list. Like we have T, and if I click on insert, we got T, and if I click on copy, we got another one. Okay, now I'll add a delete icon. So to add delete icon, we have to create an another item called itag or italic or document. Again, we have create element and simply itag, and to the itag we'll add css classes. We have add s- now class list dot add, like this, and we require two classes, like we have a trash. First one we require a solid, and we required another class called a solid, like this. And now we have to insert or append this I tag to li tag, well called append on our li element and called it I. Okay, so now this will append delete icon to our task. Like we have t, click on insert, now we got t, and we did not get I tag. Now li got solid, not if solid is a pet trash. Click on this, we got t and delete. Okay, like we have t and okay. Okay, so if you understand how to create a simple task, now we'll create so first on, let's create the functionality of delete task from the list. Okay, so to delete the icon, delete the task from the list, we have to again add event listener on this I tag. Okay, so where we created our I tag, below this, I will just add one event listener I tag, that is click, and we'll simply call an function. So we'll create another function so this will not look messy. Your delete task, and we have a function here bottom. We have delete task, and we require an event. Okay, because we require the to get the current target that we click on. Okay, so we'll require, so first of all just console log our target. We'll create a new t, and we, now when we first insert this task into our list, we have to this reset this box. We'll go to task inside this console log, just write input dot value to be empty. Now if I just enter it, now we have reset our input value. We'll add another one, copy console, and if we click on the delete icon, we got our I tag a solid trash. But before we required its parent node, like this. So we have one, what do you say, property called parent node, like this. If I click on how to create it again, copy, and we have t. If we click it on delete icon, we got the delete li tag. whole li tag where we click on T and we have a trash icon. Okay, like this. Now if I click on the delete icon inside the copy tag, we got li, and inside this now coffee like this. So we'll create a variable. So I'll remove it. Const by dot target require parent node, and we have to remove it from the task. We have a method called remove child, and we'll just simply pass our li. So now if I click on the or insert one task T and second one as coffee, delete one like coffee, you got simple item that is T. If I remove this, we'll have nothing. Okay. So this is the simple. So let's add first animation and then we'll add strike through on a text. So we'll create keyframes for animation. First of all, we create animation for like we have frames animate in for 0%. I'll make the content or just translate our text to right side by 100 pixel and make the opacity 0, and 100% I'll make the content like we'll change the opacity, and so let's do 0 pixel and we have opacity to 1, and same as animation in we have animation out did not require 100% 0%. So we'll make the on the 100%, like when animation completed we'll just translate to 100% and we'll make the opacity to 0. Okay, now we'll go to the script.js for the animation in, like where we created our add tag. Here we'll add the style animation and we have animate in. I'll call it 1 second is, and we have to repeat only once and we'll make it forward so it will stay there. Okay, now we'll refresh the page and enter our task. Okay, now we have our animation. Can make animation as you like, or we can second animation like copy. Then we have task. I will add animation on delete button. So not only like here we delete our task, we'll add animation like we have style animation. Now animate out. Again we called it 1 second and is complex like we have T, and if I click on the delete icon, then we just it remove from the list, because when animation before the animation is completed we called this remove method. So if I just commit it down and again if I just click on the delete icon, then we have our simple animation. Okay, can make it as forward so it not split again this. So for this we can call that event on the li called as animation end, like it will call a function like when animation gets end like this. So we'll just simply console log animation end console, first create a simple task and delete it. Okay, so now when animation gets completed we get animation end at a console. Now we'll just simply call this method like when animation gets ended, your t on it, and when you delete, but delete the item from the list. Okay, we have empty ul tag, create one and delete it, got nothing. Okay, so now we deleted our task, and finally, not finally, we'll add a strike through in our text or li tag. Like when we click on the li, we got strike through text. So we'll call li event listener on li tag. We'll add event listener, click, and we just called as a toggle function like this. Called function, called task. Again, we require event li to e dot target. Okay, now here we click on the our li tag. We did not require its parent node, and now inside this parent node we just simply toggle the class something like strike through. So we did not created a class, so first of all we have to create a task. Copy this. Below this we'll create a simple task. Just change the text decoration to line through like this. Click create a task and click on the task. We have strike through, but here we also get the strike on a delete icon. So to solve this problem, we can simply create one span, insert the text inside the span, and we can now then append li onto this span. Not we can append span inside the li, not reverse. Now here when we create li tag, we can create a span like this and have create element, and we have span. Now inside, instead of inner text of the span li, we can change it to span this, and where we append our li tag I tag, we can append span, and here we have to get the span from the li tag. So we'll call not document, we'll call li dot query selector, and we required a span. We'll change the span toggle e. Now if I click on this, now you got only strike through text. Or if I click it on again, now it will remove the strike. We'll just toggle the css classes. You can also get the this span using like first child of the li. Its first uh, child. Let's look at, like we have console log and click on this. Okay, now first child. That's right. Okay. But here is one problem. Will show you, like if I enter one task T and I click on delete icon, now we got error that we cannot set the class on a null value. Okay, so now here what is happening is called as method propagation. Like here we have an, like we have simple task T. So here we have an li tag. I go to the elements. Now inside this li we have li tag, and inside this we have I tag. That is where we called our delete function. Like we can click on this delete icon. Okay, now when we click on this delete icon, we also click on this outer parent li tag, and we also added one method or function to this li class. So the class or the function related to this li tag is get executed. Okay, I have okay, I will simply explain you what is happening here. So we'll go to the html, search for stop propagation method. Okay, now here we have simple example for the stop propagation method. Okay, we have a simple div2, like we have outer div2 called at parent div. Inside this we have one div called div1, which is child one. Okay, now both these div, we have a function related to it. Like when we click on it, like when we click on the div2, it will simply alert that is div2. Like if I click it on OK, now it will remove. Like we got function 1 for the div1, and we have function 2 that is simply alert. Now if I click on div1, now look at what is happen. Like we got a div1, like div1 that is defined. If I click on OK, now we also got div2. Okay, this is called as a propagation. Like when we click on the child node, the function related to parent node also get invoked. So to stop this, we can called stop propagation. Like here on d1, we have event dot stop propagation. For this, I will just simply check this. And now if I click on this d1, we got d1. And if I click on this, now we got only d1 alert for the d1, not for the d2. Okay, I have understand this. So let's move on to our VS Code editor. Now inside this delete task, we first called stop. Let's copy this. Okay. Okay. Well, now if I just add task T, go to the console. Now click on the delete icon. Tada! Did not get any error. Okay. We completed our to-do app, and finally we required our to-do list to store into our local storage. So we can go to the application. Inside this local storage, we got, now here we store our task. Let's move on to our code where we created our item, and here we just add local storage to set item. I'll call as tasks, and we have to convert our string object to JSON stringify JSON string. So we have to call method JSON dot stringify, and we have our value like this. Okay, this is simple. Like I just enter T and click on this, we got task and we have our item. But if I insert another one like coffee, now our T is replaced with a copy. So to avoid this, we have to create an array, and we have to store this task into an array. But before that, like we have an array already stored into our local storage, we have to get this array from the local storage, and then we have to insert our newly value inside the array, and then again we have to store our array inside this local storage. So we, for this, we'll get local storage called get item to get the item from the local storage, and we have tasks. Okay, like this. So we'll store into an array, call it as a saved task. But again, we store our items into string format, so we have to parse it. So we have to call a method json dot parse. This will convert a json string to JavaScript object. Okay, like this. But default, like if I just remove this and go to the console, now we have did not have any task. If I create one key and to the application, now we have to store. First of all, we have to create an array like this. Okay, we use es6 method to create uh, copy the previous array and insert new value. So we required array three dots, we have save task, and we have a value like this. So it will copy the previous array and insert the new value. And simply also called as a save task and push method and value instead of this and directly save like this. If I remove this on, did not get input inside the to our local storage, uh, we got an error, got null value, because previously when we didn't when we come this page on first time come to this page first time, we did not have any uh, data stored into our local storage, so that's why we got an null value. So to avoid this, we can create an empty array. Like when we have null value, instead of this we'll create an empty array and just store our newly value inside this empty array. So now I'll create t, and inside this now we have an array item. If I create another one like coffee, got tea and coffee, again it got study or study. Okay, and if I refresh this page, we did not see anything, but we have data into our local storage. So create another method called function on load, called on init, okay, and we'll get the data from local storage. So for this we'll have to copy this code, okay, save task, and again we have to copy the code that we used to create the item to list, like this much. Okay, so to avoid this we just simply create a new function, and like we have function create task. Okay, so to avoid duplication I just simply copy this code and paste it here, and we have value like this. Now here we'll call create task method, pass value. Here if I got same output as before. Okay, so now we'll refresh this page. Before that, now we have to create for loop to iterate through each task in our local storage, like this. Like we have tea, coffee, study, and again tea. So we'll call for each method. Now value or task can call anything. We'll call create task method, and we got value. And we have to call on method on loading this HTML code. Now we got, like if I refresh this page, we have to do list, and finally we have to remove the to do our tasks from when we delete our task from to do list. Like if I click on the delete icon, we did not remove this from our array. Now if I click on the refresh page, the item that we deleted from our to do list, it will come again. So now we'll have to this use this method, like we have to get the items from the local storage again where we deleted our item, like inside this function, like when we call it when animation gets ended. Okay, and we called one filter method on this task. Filter method just simply return new array uh, without the value that we want to get, that we don't want to get. So now when we have a simple value, okay, and we don't want to get the value that is not equal to uh, for this li, we want to get its value, like uh, want to get the value from the span. So we require this code li dot first child, and we required called inner text, like this. And again we save our task into our local storage. So we'll get this code local storage json.stringify, and I will just copy and paste it here. Now if I just refresh this page, we have four tasks, and if click on to remove study happen. So okay, we have to create new variable because it will remove it will return filter method will return new array. So we'll call this a new array, and we have to store new array inside local storage like this. And now if I click on the delete icon like study, now our study is removed. Click on the last t remove. Okay, so now we actually two t's remove because we based on the text, not any id, not unique id. Okay, you can create, you can add additional feature to remove the item or insert the item inside the local storage and create a new ids. So now if I'll remove the copy, or nothing. If I refresh the page, got empty array. If I click on again, now remove our task from the list. Okay, so that's it for today's video. You can also add additional feature, like if I already said, you can insert the element with their ids. You just have to insert the object instead of the like when we insert the value inside the array, you can create an object and create an insert id like this. Okay, so I hope you understand the video. You can, if you like this video, you can subscribe the channel and like this video. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.